F1 2017 builds on the success of F1 2016, which, in my opinion, was easily the best in the Codemasters franchise. We're going to be focusing on the career mode, which has been changed quite dramatically from last year. Strap in, because I've got positives and negatives for you. So let's kick things off with the most notable change in career mode, the development tree. It does seem quite daunting to look at first, and for me personally, it's a bit overkill and could daunt the casual player who's picking up the game for the first time. I think it just needs simplifying a little. Over the course of the career, you can have damage to internal parts, engine, gearbox, etc., which needs to be analysed and managed to make sure you're not losing too much performance for any given race weekend. It's a nice little addition and something to think about between races and sessions. The cars are a lot quicker than last year, which makes the cars feel incredibly impressive through high-speed corners especially. Traction out of corners does not seem as difficult as previous F1 games, and generally they seem easier and more predictable to drive. However, with the higher speeds through corners, it also means there's more responsibility leaning on the player to turn in just at the right time, especially if you're in like a backmarker team that doesn't have much downforce like Sauber, sorry. The physics system. I really do have to mention this one. From what I've seen, it's been completely reworked and we have no more side pod glitch. If you're unfamiliar with what the term side pod glitch means, in a nutshell, two cars could not race side by side in previous F1 games for fear of someone's wheel touching the other person's side pod and inconsistently being spun for no apparent reason. But it doesn't matter anymore because it seems to be fixed, at least for single player. From my experience of career mode so far, F1 2017 performance in career is too spread out. So what I mean by this is the Mercedes and Ferraris are about 3 seconds clear of the midfield runners, which can lead to boring career mode races if you're ahead of the midfield pack but nowhere near the top 3 teams. Having said that, the 0 to 110% difficulty slider is an addition I've wanted for several years now, and I'm so happy to see it feature this year. The career mode as a whole feels more real. So what I mean by this is that it entices the player into the most immersive experience yet, with the addition of more areas such as the expanded hospitality suite, the engineer truck, and also the addition of Jonathan, a classic car owner that really does make the player feel like they're embarking on a journey when first introduced to him.
And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest.
As for strategy, one-stops seem to be a very common occurrence in the races, and something I'd like to see patched to at least allow more frequent two-stop strategies, as one of the main things in real-life F1 is outfoxing the other teams when it comes to pit stops. The menus have an updated look and are the slickest they've ever been. Graphically, the cars look stunning before selecting which team you want to race for. One thing that does get on my nerves a little bit is the way Crofty reads out the grid before a race. It's exactly the same as F1 2016 and really does need sprucing up to not sound as robotic as it currently does. So he's basically like, oh, Sebastian Vettel in P1, Lewis Hamilton in P2, and then he changes his intonation. It's really odd and does kind of put me off a little bit.
Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Kimi Räikkönen and Ricciardo.
I have to mention the rework of Suzuka. It is such a rewarding track to drive now. The banking for turn 1 and also through Spoon is just fantastic to drive. An awesome little update for 2017 and I guarantee you'll all absolutely love it. It's a shame to see the same podium celebration animations for every driver. Someone like Kimi is not going to be smiling ear to ear and spraying champagne all over the place. It's little things like this that take away from the game's immersion and undo the awesome things they've done with career mode. In my opinion, people want the drivers' personalities to come across. They want to feel like they're involved in a real-life F1 season with their favourite drivers. I don't want to speak for everyone though, so let us know in the comments what you'd like from career mode especially. It's a fun game with both the wheel and a controller. Input lag was an issue for controller players where the response between choosing to go full look left or full look right, there was a response on the screen which was delayed and therefore cost time on the track. For this year it does seem a lot better though, and I hope the wheel versus pad debate can finally be put to bed for another year. The addition of classic cars and integrating it in with the newly enhanced career mode was a fantastic idea. Comparing this to previous releases where it was a separate feature and felt just like a chore to drive and you really wouldn't get anything from it. Good one, Codemasters. The AI drivers have improved from 2016. They're racier and tend to be more unpredictable when going for moves. However, I've seen this more when they're overtaking each other than racing wheel to wheel with them myself. Overall, F1 2017 career mode is without a doubt the best one yet, and for someone who pretty much despises playing single player, it's even managed to capture my interest, which is saying something. I'm going to rate it a solid 7 out of 10, and this is coming from a person who hasn't been particularly complimentary of their games in the past. For me, the main thing that is still missing is the personality side of things. So the introduction of more driver interviews, living the life aspects, and generally feeling like whatever I say in any given moment will shape the path of my F1 career. If that's included for F1 2018, then sign me up. Oh, and maybe having someone like Ted Kravitz down in the pit lane. That'd be so damn cool. Try not to fight too much in the comments section, but which team will you be racing for in F1 2017? Oh no, what have we started?